Okay, I think I'm done with this as far as I want to go on this lower one. Keep seeing something more, but as far as I want to do on this lower one, I got it pretty nice. That doesn't have to be perfect. It looks like I could round this off. I'll do that when I sand, but when you're cutting, you're not pushing straight. Don't push it straight into the wood. Put it on a little angle and draw it a little bit so it's moving this way and this way. All right? Don't just push it across. It always should move. And holding it like that helps you do that. You pull the knife right across the whole blade. Use the whole blade is what I'm trying to say. This is cross grain right here. Now this is going to be tough, but if I'm pulling it like that, you get it to be, see, just a minute ago, I had it really rough. But now, see, I've got it down a little bit. See, just by pulling. Try to do another thing is don't try to scrape with your knife. Sometimes you might, in a places, I'm doing something like this, try to scrape. Don't scrape. Like you might want to, inside here, you might just scrape it. That'll dull your blade in no time. Don't do that. Just always be trying to move. Just couple little carving tips. Some of you learned it in Boy Scouts, and where you carve things, and some of you just learned it from your grandpa. This is cherry wood. Now, if you want to use a softer wood, there's something called a basswood or a linden tree. It's the same as basswood. It's real white. In England, it's the same tree called limewood. And if you read a book, some of the greater carvings, and it's all made out of limewood. In mansions and stuff, they use limewood in those English mansions because it's easy to carve and it's a tighter grain. This is pretty good grain. I like this cherry, how it's carving. I really do. This is nice. See, I still got the center line still on there. I'm going to cut them off now. I keep them there till the very end, and just so I always have a reference where's center. That way I can look at it and see if that's where the outside of the curve is. So I always know that's the outside of the curve. Now I'm taking off the marks, round it over. See, on this side of that center line, the grain will come down. But on this side of the center line, the grain, I have to turn it around and the grain goes the other way. Either that, if I don't pay attention to that, I'll knock a big chip out. I gotta bring that to a little bit of a point. I always, when I drew a heart when I was in love in high school, well, I'm still in love, but I always came to a point, came around. Instead of coming together like that, I always brought it down like that. I don't know why, that's how I drew it, and it looked good to me, so I'm going to try to make that one. All right, and now I just sawed it off of the edge here, and all it looks like I have to do is cut this end out a little bit, so make it nice at the bottom of this one. I took a lot of time trying to make it nice, so I don't really want to sand this. It's getting to the point where this is coming out shiny when I cut, and I think it'll look nice where you can see each individual knife cut. I don't know, do what you want. I'm going to try this one without without doing that, without sanding it. Sanding is really a pain. I know that much. And once you make one sandpaper, you got to finish the whole thing. Otherwise it'll, when you try to put finish on it, it won't come out even. Well, to the point there now, just as John Ross, the painter, he says, you know, I think I'm going to call this done. And he gets to a point and it's done, and he signs it. I don't know where I'm going to sign this one. I always sign my initials on here. But if I keep going, I'll never get done. But I think I'm going to call it done. Yeah, I see some over here. Well, almost done. Okay. All right. So if you wondered how I can get this out of that piece of wood at the beginning, out of that large piece of wood, just this little 2 hearts. Two hearts out of one piece of wood. There you go. And I think I'm just going to finish it, leave it rough like that. Maybe that's a good story, you know. Love is rough. I don't know. My love has been really good over all these years. My grandkids and my wife, everybody. But two together, that'll represent Judy and me. You see. Or you, whoever I give it to, either locked together forever. Yeah. And so that's it. I hope you, it encourages you to do something, sit around. They're not easy, but maybe I'll show you the chain. Okay, we're just done with this one. I told you at the beginning how we could make it. If you can do this, then you could make a chain. Now I'll show you. This is more fun than a chain because you got something you can give away. Now, I've got some wood here. This is from that tree that fell down, and the branch. And what I would do on that, see, I have to turn it into something that looks like that. So I just take it, mark it straight on down, make 2 marks, and then I have to make a mark here, make a mark here. You make them evenly around. Then you got to cut all this out by hand. All this stuff gets cut out by hand. And I have a V-chisel, and I have a plane, a corner plane that helps do that. And then I'll just lay out a chain. Now, I'll show you some of the chains that I made out of this one here, my first chain. I might have made it out of a piece of wood just like this. And out of a piece of white pine. I made it. See, look at I made the things square because I didn't really know how to get creative. So when I wanted to get creative, I made another one. That's the first one I made. Then I said, oh, I'll get creative. I can do it. And I made this one. There's a hook on the end. And then it's all the way up. And I made a ball and chain on the end of that one. Now that's a good analogy for marriage too. A ball and chain, and I glued this piece of black walnut on the end of it and made it round. But that's the second one I did, and I found out that I could get creative. I can do a little bit of creative. So then I made this one. This is just the same thing. Looks like it's made out of a branch of a twig, but look at the bottom of this one. I made it I hollowed it out, made a nice thing, and look what's inside here. It rattles. I made 4 balls inside of that, inside of there. I don't know what they call them. But anyway, it's in a cage. 4 balls in a cage. And see if you could do that one. Now that's a challenge. And then on the bottom, I wanted to make him fancy, so I made him look like that. Then I wanted to, I don't know when when I did this one. This says 20. Okay, so I did it. And I just wanted to take a smaller branch to see if I could make out of a small branch. And I made them narrower, and they're very narrow. So I figured out I can do that. And you can see this is out of a branch of the tree. I left the knots on it and everything, that white pine tree. Then got a little ornery. And I wanted to see if I could make a nice cool one. So I took that branch, and I believe this may be the other part of this part here. Maybe not. Maybe not. But it might. No, I ain't. But anyway, so I took the branch, and here you can see the knots. That's right. I did make a chain out of the end of this one, and I gave it to a friend of mine already. And I started to carve this one, you see. And then I just kept carving and carving and carving and carving and carving. I kept making this chain and the branch. This is, by the way, out of one branch. This is one branch that I cut off of the tree. Here's the other end of that branch. It's over 10 foot long. See if you can do that one. This is a challenge if you want to learn to if you want to carve. But it took a long time. And this one I got done just before the COVID started, but way back in 20. But whoa, but that was kind of fun. It's a challenge just to prove that you can do it. You can do it out of one branch. You could make this chain. And I think it is, yeah, 2020 I made that. I put my name on the bottoms of these things, 2020 on there. So just to show you, when I started, I told you that you could, if you could make the little 2 hearts, interlocking hearts, you actually can. You actually can make the chain. If your carving skill is good enough to do that, you could make that. That's a possibility. So anyway, this is what the COVID has taught me, just to get crazy and and you know, when you're crazy during the COVID, no one cares because you're locked in your house all by yourself, and no one cares how crazy you are. Yeah. I don't care. You care? I don't care. But anyway, there you go. You make a chain for no reason, no purpose, just that you can do it. And not many people can. All right. I still want to God bless you, and praying for you all the time. And I miss y'all. Okay, God bless you.